There's a lot of people out there that are interested in overland travel and van life. I have a lot of unanswered questions about long-term living in your truck or camper. So today we're going to try and answer some of those questions. Those of you that follow my channel will know that I got married in Kazakhstan to Sevinch. And Sevinch joined me travelling from Azerbaijan all the way to the UK. So hopefully she'll be able to answer some of the questions that the women have. So we're going to have a question and answer session between ourselves. Sevinch joined me in Azerbaijan and we travelled through Europe for 6 months. And Sevinch was a little bit nervous and there was some questions she had about van life. So I understand there are certainly women out there that are more apprehensive than a lot of the guys are about the travel. So hopefully today we can answer some questions. And question 1 for Sevinch. Did you have any fears about coming to travel in Matilda?
Yes, I did. First time when I thought of going traveling in Matilda, for me it was like going to Mars or Jupiter or somewhere. I don't know anything, and I didn't ever know anything about this type of traveling because it's not common, or even you can't see any people traveling like this in Kazakhstan. So I just didn't have any idea about this type of traveling. And
what were you worried about most of all?
When I first met you and saw your vehicles, Matilda and Paddles, and I thought, well, and maybe I wasn't the only one who think that these people must be traveling in very extreme conditions. They must be hungry most of the time, and that's what I thought.
And that's why you brought us, you and your friends would come to the beach with dates and I can't remember, melons,
maybe nuts.
Maybe some nuts.
Yeah, because I thought I didn't know these vehicles, such vehicles can have fridges and other cupboards. And
you had some concerns about hygiene, washing.
Yeah.
What were they?
Like, if you have water, where do you have showers? How often can you afford having showers? If you have cold, hot water, or only cold, and you wash in the river. And
so you've now been in Matilda more than 6 months, a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think now? Now that you've lived in Matilda, travelled in Matilda,
yeah.
Do you shower as much as you want?
Yeah.
Do you have nice long showers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So hot water is not a problem?
Hot, cold water, you shower as long as you want, as much as you want. You can wash your clothes in the washing machine. You can, I also thought that traveling is, like, if you travel long term, it mustn't be like, it doesn't mean you have to look scruffy, untidy, not washed or anything like that. Well, it maybe was a stereotype in my head that all travelers are like more like hippie, have hippie lifestyle. They don't really care about some things. But yeah, I, as far as I remember, first thing I asked you to buy before I came to Matilda and joined you. We actually bought it. First thing we bought it together. Yeah, was the steamer.
A small steamer.
Yeah.
On your clothes.
Yeah, which I'm very happy.
So we have this compact steamer, and I'll show you in a video clip. It's like an iron, but it's steam, and it's very good, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't take much space. It's very nice.
It uses about 800 watts to create the steam. So that's, if you've got a good electrical system, that's not a problem at all.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So when we talked previously, you said drying the clothes was a bit of a problem. And when we were in places like Turkey where it was hot, you could park up, string up a washing line. Drying your clothes wasn't a problem.
Mm.
In the colder climates, it's a bit more difficult. Is that right? Do you think so?
Yeah. Because of the humidity, I guess. Yeah, you can't wash as much as you want at a time. Like, well, if you want to wash the beds and all the towels and some clothes, and you've got lots to wash, and then you must think where, if you have enough space, where you dry it.
I also remember you said you were worried about having to fix Matilda. You had this idea that you would have to be fixing her.
It's again about my idea of travelers, which was very, very, very far from reality. I thought, because Paddles and Matilda, you traveled in a group of 3 people, and you had Tina with you. She was the only woman, and because I knew that Tina used to work with you in a spaceship company, and I didn't really know what she did. I thought maybe it was some kind of engineering or things like that, and I thought that she must be very good at fixing things, or at least if something goes wrong or breaks, she knows what to do, how to do. That is why she was kind of useful member of your crew. So, and if anybody like me would travel with you, it's like I would be a useless useless part of
the team.
Yeah, because I have no idea about devices.
Yeah, fixing
things. Yeah.
So a reality of travel is things will break, things will need to be fixed.
Yeah.
And ideally, you need to know how to fix your truck, or at least have an idea where to look for it. Or many countries you go to, you will find a garage, but not always. Especially in certain parts of the world, some parts of Africa, Mongolia, you'll have to deal with it yourself. And I guess you're worried about that.
Yeah, but I'm lucky. My husband knows everything, and he's clever, so I don't have to worry about it.
So how do you find cooking in Matilda? Does she have everything you need?
Yeah.
Is there anything you miss?
Yes, everything. I can't remember, maybe if we didn't have anything, just because you didn't used to use it before I arrived. Maybe we got it later, like, I can't remember. The whisk, what is it called?
We brought a whisk. You like to bake, so we bought a whisk.
Yeah, because I like baking things more than...
But as far as people thinking about van life, travelling, do you believe that we have, or other people can have, everything they need to be at home just like they do in their homes now. There's
Yeah.
no reason why you can't have everything in your home, in your truck.
Yeah. We have everything. We cook everything. We fry, we boil, we steam and bake, and you have a lot of food supplies in the fridge, in the freezer, in the cupboards, and like for example, when you left UK, you said you had some food supplies, and which you still were using when I was here already.
Yeah, so
like some rice and
a
tin.
year later, I still had food from England.
Yeah, so these vehicles, they can
carry a large amount of
yeah.
huge capacity of food, storage, and water.
Yes. So
So,
you don't
for
worry
example,
about
I took like six jars of cranberry sauce. But because I like cranberry sauce, I did run out actually at Christmas. So about 8 months after travelling, I ran out. But I'd saved one particular jar for Christmas Day. So we discussed food. When we travelled, could you get all the food you wanted? Was there anything that you really couldn't get and missed?
No, we could get anything, and the countries we traveled were most of the time we spent in Turkey. There was about 2 months. Greece, and yeah, you can buy anything. There was nothing we missed or couldn't buy or get. There were even things like some fruit that you can try fresh, which you can't try in your country. Like in Kazakhstan, we have only very occasionally we can have fresh figs brought, but normally you get dry figs in supermarkets. And in Turkey we could have them fresh, and other berries like mulberries.
Yeah, we had mulberries. We found mulberries in Turkey. That was lovely.
We picked them from the trees. Yeah, and
so fruit in Turkey was great, wasn't it? Roadside fruit everywhere, and we even got free fruit sometimes.
And each city, each new place you come, they sell like. In this city they sell nice apricots. Next city you move, they sell peaches. The next they sell figs.
There were a few things that I missed. I couldn't find cranberry sauce, as I said, I run out. And PG tips, English tea bags. We ran out in Turkey, and I was having to buy Earl Grey and some other varieties. But I think that's the only thing I really missed. I couldn't buy.
And I think it's just because you didn't trust, but maybe you should have tried the Turkish tea, because Turkish people drink tea a lot and they have nice tea. And in Azerbaijan and in Kazakhstan, people like drinking tea a lot, maybe even more than in UK.
Was language ever a problem? From an English perspective, if you were an English traveller or American traveller, not speaking Russian or similar languages, do you think there was any problems?
No, I don't think we had any problems ever. No. If you are a traveler, yeah, we bought things in shops. No, language was never an issue, I think.
So what do you think was the best thing about travelling in Matilda? Or travelling overland in the way we did? What was the best thing about it?
Okay, traveling in the way we did, like comparing to traveling.
Well, maybe a lot of people would book a 2-week holiday. They would go to one destination, and they might travel off short distances from that destination to do day trips.
Like book a hotel and
So that's one option of travel. Or overlanding, like we do. If you travel through a country, stopping where you want, when you want. What What was the best thing about that way of travelling for you?
I think because you can go wherever you want, and you can stay there as long as you want. You do not depend on other people's schedule, like if you are visiting places with a group of tourists and a guide, and you can come when you want, you can leave the place when you want, you can even stay for the night or a few days if you like the place really much, and so that's the main, I think, thing.
From a woman's perspective, now, how do you find living in Matilda? Because a lot of women like to have hair straighteners, hair dryers.
Mm-hmm.
These things use lots of power. So how have you found living in Matilda? Have you had to change what you'd normally do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had these concerns. So first about hygiene, as I said, yeah, and but no, in fact, I, like in my normal life, I use everything, anything I need, I want. I have my hair dryer with me, hair straightener, all the devices I need, and I can use them as long as I want, anytime I want, and like a normal life.
So with a large enough battery capacity, the appropriate electronics, you can really use all your power devices, certainly women's power devices. Now the only thing I don't let you do is use your hairdryer on high, because that's using almost 2,000 watts. If you could change anything about the way we live in the truck, or if I could add something or take something away, what would it be? Are there any changes that you would like made to make life easier with travelling?
To make life easier when traveling?
We've discussed, we don't have an oven. We have an electric oven, which we only use with the generator on. We have discussed putting a gas oven in, just to make cooking life a bit easier. Is there anything else you think would be better? If you were to recommend a change to anybody else building their truck, what would it be?
Well, to me, Matilda is perfect, or like, yeah, very near to perfect. As you already mentioned, the oven, I think if there's an option, and if when people building their vehicles and they have this option to make an oven, and I think it depends on people. Maybe some people just don't bake too often and don't use it that often, and it just doesn't make sense to have an oven. We do, so I would prefer that the oven was not dependent
on the generator.
On the generator, yeah, because it's fine, but sometimes you are parked in a not really wild place, and you just don't want to upset people around because the generator can be loud.
So there are occasions when we're parked with other campers, and it's late at night. We tend to eat late, and we don't want to upset or keep up other campers.
Yeah. But as for this oven, I'm happy about the size, and that you can move it when you are not using it, and it can do everything.
Was parking ever a problem? So when we travelled, we were in Europe, which is a much busier place, Turkey.
Yeah.
Did we ever struggle for parking?
In general, no. It just sometimes when you like, there were, I don't know how often, maybe once or twice it happened, like we needed to get a new SIM card, and so we had to go to the city centers, and in Europe especially, the streets were quite narrow and a lot of cars parking along, so it was not easy sometimes to find a place to stop near the shop we needed, so we had to sometimes make a few circles to find the right place. And once we came to Antalya in Turkey, which is a nice, beautiful city, but very, very incredibly touristic, and we couldn't find a place to park again in the city, so we parked in a quite nice place in the beach, near the beach, but not in the city. And the next day we had to go to the city center again. What for?
We went to buy a phone. Went to the mall, bought a phone.
Oh yeah, to buy a phone, to buy a telephone, because I broke mine. And we got a taxi to get there.
So I haven't travelled in Matilda now. Through Europe was 5 months in Europe? I think it was 5 months in Europe, and then in the UK for some time. For any woman asking you, should I go overland travelling in a camper van or a truck, what would you say?
Traveling this way, I don't want to encourage anybody, or everybody should make their own decision based on their circumstances and feelings, and there are some people who prefer holidays with more convenience, though, as we said before, it's you have everything you need. Maybe just not wanting. Some women don't want to cook when they are on holiday, like these things.
But when we were certainly in Europe, we probably ate out at least once a day or once every other day.
Yeah,
because there's restaurants, good food everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, that traveling like this, it doesn't mean you cannot eat out every time you want, anytime you want. So, but traveling like this is really amazing. Yeah, I like it very much for all those reasons we mentioned before, because you really see places, you really explore them, you really enjoy, and it's your own schedule, your own timetable. You don't have to wait for somebody, or you are not worried somebody is waiting for you, like when it's, as I said, traveling with a group of tourists with a guide, and or knowing that you have to leave when you have to. But like it happened in Turkey, yeah, we liked it there, and
we stayed longer.
Yeah, first we were going to stay there for a month, but then we spent there about 2 months because we really liked it.
Sevinch, if your husband was trying to convince you to go travelling overland to a wild place, could be Africa, Asia, what concerns might you have?
How much food, water supplies can we have with us, and what happens if something happens to vehicle and something breaks and we have to get stuck in some place, and how long can we survive with all the supplies, and yeah.
So these big vehicles like Matilda, you can carry 3 months of food quite easily. Water, it really depends on how big your water tanks are. We consume about 40 litres a day. That gives us 7 to 10 days. But if we were crossing the desert, I think we'd be much more careful. So you want to make your water last longer. As far as fuel and water, food is concerned, you really need to make this judgment for yourself and have some common sense and respect your environment where you are and be prepared for it. There is no excuse to run out of diesel really. You should have a plan. Sometimes you can't get it in the town you expect, and that does happen. But just running out of diesel because you didn't plan and have enough shouldn't happen. If it does, you've got it wrong. So you do need to have some respect for your environment and plan ahead. So Matilda has a 330 litre fuel tank, and although I also carried some jerry cans, I've never actually needed them. 330 litres has been enough. So to answer your question, we will think about where we are, think about where we're going to get our next supplies, and plan ahead. And if we do break down and we can't fix it, I've always found there are people about. You're in the middle of the Gobi Desert, somebody turns up. It's just the way it is. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. And if there's no signal, no internet, and you really need some help, like something you can't fix yourself, I remember you had a
satellite phone, yes.
telephone, yeah.
I did have a satellite phone. Would I take one again? Well, I did use mine, but I never had to use it. It was never an emergency where there wasn't other options available to me. I used it because I had loads of credit on it and I hadn't used it, so it seemed cheaper to use that than to use my Kazakh SIM card and probably pay more doing it that way. Sat phone, I really only used it to call family and friends. Would I take one again? I don't know. If you need one, I think you'd be pleased you've got it. It's a difficult question. There are other devices out there you can text using satellite, like I think it's called a spot messenger. They can be. Maybe that's the option, good option, because it's quite much. It's only cheaper, and the credit doesn't expire, if I believe correctly.
If you are in the middle of desert and you have no internet, and do you think you can get bored? Like the landscape is quite similar. Every time is not changing a lot.
Funnily enough, the internet was almost better in Mongolia than it is in the UK, which is rather embarrassing to say. I think it depends on you. I loved the desert. I'd happily just sit there and watch the stars all night long. I think if you love shopping and visiting touristic places, then you could get bored maybe. But if you love, but I think people generally go on these trips because they want to get away from that and to explore nature and see the wild places. So I think the answer to that is no, you won't get bored. You're there because that's what you want. However, if you've dragged your kids along, or your wife doesn't want to be there along, maybe they could get bored.
But you also have a TV in Matilda and some DVDs and some books, and we have an e-book. So
yes,
if you're kind of like reading or watching films, this is another way to entertain yourself.
You can customise your truck to suit everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a PlayStation on Matilda. Now, it's very rarely used. We use it as a DVD player, but we could play games if we wanted to.
But we don't want to.
Okay, Sevinch.
Yeah.
Was there any times when you were scared in Matilda, travelling?
Scared? One time when we were going to a wild beach, I wasn't scared of any danger from outside, but I was scared when we were driving on to a beach, a very beautiful, amazing beach, but it was really difficult to get to, and we were driving. It was quite dark, it was twilight, yeah, and because Matilda is so big, there were a lot of trees around, and all these branches, they were like obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was no 10 mark, it was just a road, very wiggling and steep, and sometimes
It was rough. A lot of
yeah, holes.
yeah.
And so Matilda was like jumping, and yeah, I was scared at that time, and also maybe because women, we are more emotional sometimes, and our imagination can exaggerate things, but it seemed, as you said later, we were not very far from the main road, but for me, to me, it seemed like we got into some dark jungle, and if we get stuck there, how do we get out of there? And so it really scared me, but the beach was very beautiful, it was very rewarding. And by the way, not the next day, 2 days later, yeah, when we left the beach, we were leaving it in a daytime, and it wasn't that scary then, because you can see everything, and it was okay. Not as bad as I thought.
Thanks for watching, and lots more videos to come. We've got more T244 related videos on how to and why. We still need to do a guide tour of Matilda. More travel videos to come, and then eventually we'll get around to producing a tour.
Hopefully we answered all your questions. Like the video, subscribe, and if you have any more questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and we will probably make another video trying to answer your questions.